are back with Mr. Jeffrey's class with Algebra 2 with stats. We're about to go over our solving quadratics practice test, but beforehand, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I'm up to 40 subscribers, so all I need is 960 more so I can get rid of this hairline. Okay, so, woo! All right, for number one, all right, part one, it says use the quadratic formula to solve the following, okay? And I've kind of put it over the side in case you can't remember it. That's okay. So A is 2, B is -7, and C is -3. All right. So if we're plugging this in, plus or minus square root. Okay. So we got B squared minus 4A. Almost actually wrote A instead of doing the parentheses. Whip, 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 whip. Yeah, that is a plus over minus. All right. So when we start plugging stuff in, -7, that should be, there we go. And then this is 2, this is -3, and this is also 2. All right. That is a -7 in the second one. Oh my gosh. All right. So remember, when after we plug it in, we start cleaning it up a little bit. Okay. On the bottom, 2 times 2 is 4. All right. Negative times a negative is a positive 7. This is awesome. That helps us. All right. Now, because we learned about imaginary numbers and stuff and how we will get a domain error, and I know it's going to happen later today because I'm going to say, don't do this, and somebody's going to say, I got a domain error. And I'm like, yeah, there's a short between the seat and your buttons on your calculator. Okay. Now, you're actually going to do what's underneath the square root, just that part. Remember, that's called the discriminant because it discriminates. All right. So we plug it in our calculator like so, and we get 73. Now, if we were to try to take the square root of 73 to simplify this, we actually just get the square root of 73. So guess what? Yeah, this is our answer. Yay! Yay! Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. Nope. Now, that's it. All right. All it is, I found the A, B, and C. I plugged it into the formula. I did the easy stuff first. Okay. And then I found out that 73 does not have a square root, and I actually leave it like that. Okay. So not so bad, a little bit better. Okay, I can't fix that. And believe it or not, some of these problems are actually from an old algebra 2 or algebra 1 test. Some people are like, oh, can't do it. All right. Anybody need more time here? We good? Yes, no? All right. All right. Add some. All right. Are we good now? Because, all right. Shh. So let's look at number 2. Now, there's the formula. So I have to find my A, my B, and my C. So A is 9, -7, -4. All right. I'll try to write a little bit neater. No promises, though. I said I'm going to try. We all know that my handwriting is kind of atrocious. I'm putting in the effort. It's going to be on the board. All right. So I plugged it in. All right. And there's a reason I'm trying to color code it so people look. Even this little thing over here is color coded. Okay, so you kind of know. I don't. Okay. Kind of glad that my microphone doesn't pick up everything that gets said in my classroom. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do the discriminant again, which is everything underneath the square root. All right. I get negative 95. Okay. Now, we learned about this last week or so, something like that. That, if we take the square root of a negative, we know it's going to have what letter in the answer now? I. Okay. So we know it's going to have an I in there somewhere. I need to try to take the square root of just 95 to see. All right. So look, the square root of 95 is just the square root of 95. So this actually ends up being 7 plus or minus I square root 95. Because remember, oh, I forgot you were in quarantine land. Uh, the square root of -1 is I. Okay, so this ends up being, -1 times 95 underneath the square root. So we can take this out, and that's how it becomes I on the outside. Yes. If you put it right underneath it, all right. So here's the question: why can't we put the I out there? If you were to put it towards the back, that would be fine. All right. But we don't want to put it actually underneath like this because this actually means that. Yeah. And remember, you got to remember your audience. Okay. So who's your audience that's grading your test? Me. And am I very easily confused and distracted? Yes, I am. So try to make it very blatantly obvious what the answer is. Okay? Because I do get confused and stuff. Okay? All right. Does anybody need more time on number 2? We good? Yes, no, maybe so. Catch on fire by the toe. All right. Number 3. All right. A, B, C. All right. So this would be 1, 7, and 25 because 25 is funnier than 24. Now, when I go to plug it in, squared minus 4. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. So what's funny is that it seems that COVID season always overlaps with some type of allergy season. So, yeah, I know. Trust me. It's no, no, no. That's no. I trust me. I have. I keep taking my Zyrtec and then like or my I'm sorry, my allergy meds, and I'm like still stuffy and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm like, please stop. All right, so I plug it in, clean it up. I get a -7. I get a plus or minus. I got a square root of something. I don't know what that is yet, and I'm going to do the 2. So again, doing this discriminant. All right, I get -51. Okay. Now, if I try to take the square root of 51, not the negative version, just the positive version, it is just the square root of 51. So My actual answer is -7 plus or minus I. I. Yep. Well, if you try to take the square root of -51 in the calculator, it's going to say domain error. So you just do the positive version to see if it reduces down or not. Yes. Now, some people will actually write their answers like this because I, I could do a very long discussion about this, but I'm afraid I would confuse half the people, probably even myself. All you need to know is just make sure you add the plus or minus sign right there. It doesn't make sense. I know the people were doing opium like Tylenol, so drugs are bad. Okay. All right. So that was number 3. All right. Da 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 da. Just sitting in my math class, entertaining myself, because I get bored. Good thing I got a face for radio. All right. I don't, it's okay. Some people are like, what do you mean a face for radio? You can't even see it. That's the point. It's kind of like why some people didn't understand the joke of the day today. The joke of the day is what generation is Forrest Gump? And he Forrest Gump was in Gen A. Gen A. Me and me and Jenny go together like peas and carrots. All right. So y'all notice the process hasn't really changed for all 4 of these. It's the same process, it's just different numbers. Okay? Exactly. Whoever yawned like that. Oh, sometimes when I yawn, I think I'm like calling my animal herd. No, no, you didn't yawn that loud. Like yours was appropriate. Mine sometimes like, and all of a sudden, all these herds of Jeffreys just start popping out of everywhere. Oh, that would be scary. A whole herd of Jeffreyses. That'd be, I don't know. One Mr. Jeffries, yeah. And see, I was supposed to be a twin, but that didn't work out. Okay. So, yeah, Mr. Jeffries was supposed to be a twin, but I absorbed my twin in the womb. So now I have the power of a man and a baby. So, I don't know if it's a true story or not, but it's funny. Except for those that are like really trying to overthink it. Yeah. The universe knew that people could only handle one of me. Okay. Same reason I only have one biological kid. That's all the universe was going to allow. Okay. All right. So we go with number 4. That is a 31. Yes, for those that were asleep with their eyes open or changing clothes or trying to color or doing stuff on Snappy Chat and or watching Twitch, which I think it's funny that there's a channel called Twitch, and it's basically you're watching somebody play video games, which that just in itself makes me twitch. Yeah, I mean, it just. Oh, are you sure you're good now? I don't. Hey, this is a high dollar operation. You got to pay attention. Yeah. All right. Good now. Yes, no, maybe so. All right. Yep. All right. So now remember, we had two different ways to do this. We we had substitution and we had elimination. Okay. Remember, in substitution, now I'm showing both ways. Remember, you get to choose one. You would actually set these equal to each other. All right. Yeah, it's this one. And then you have elimination, where basically you keep the quadratic the same and you multiply everything in the linear or the bottom one by -1. Some people like substitution more. Um, it's at least you have choices. Okay, the this one right here. Yeah, thank you, Helen. So, all right. All right. So either way, we literally end up with the same thing. Okay, either way. Now, from here, remember, we need to factor this. Okay, so what are the factors of 12 that add up to 8? Yeah, 6, 2, and 6, 6 and 2. What are the factors of 12 that add up to 8? What two numbers, when you multiply them, you get 12, but when you add them, you get 8? Yeah, no, I'm just restating the question. No, it doesn't matter if you did 6 here or 2 here. Okay, now, shh, remember, when we solved this, it's the opposite. Okay, so what's the opposite of +2? And what's the opposite of +6? All right, so we found our x values. Now we need to find our y. All right, so let's plug it back in to our linear. We could plug it into the quadratic, but the linear is so much easier. Okay, and we're teenagers, so we like easy things. Well, I'm not really a teenager, but I think I am. Yes. All right. So this is for -2. This is -6. All right. So 4 times -2 is -8 minus 3 is -11. -24 minus 3, -27. All right. So believe it or not, our final answer in all this, because there's coordinate points, is -6 and -27. Okay. Now, it was a little bit more time consuming than other problems, but you do have to admit it did move a lot faster than it did last week. Yes, it did move a lot faster. For those that were here. There you go. There's the final answer. We did it. Yep. Nope. You don't flip them back. No reason to flip them back. Listen, it's Monday. If you make through Monday and don't yawn at least once, there's probably something wrong with you. Listen, I did get a good night's sleep and I'm still tired. I mean, I did too. All right, moving on to number 6. Now, I know how many of y'all actually do elimination in this class? 2 people. Okay. So let me set this up again. I got subs over here. Well, it's some people would disagree with you that elimination's easier. I would actually agree with you, but we love everybody. I mean, you can disagree with somebody and still, be civil to them. A lot of people don't realize that. They're like, we must hate you now. Okay, that's plus. I don't know the chances of us coming to school or not coming to school. Listen, this is like the perfect storm. We have a hurricane coming up from the Gulf that's producing tornadoes left and right. And then we have COVID. So it's like, woo, instead of Sharknado, we had COVID NATO. Ah, all right. Coming soon. Y'all. Now, so, oh no, there's no second term. All right. So if there's no second term, we can't do the what are the factors of blood that add up to blood. Okay, so we actually have to use something else at our disposal, which is called we have to factor by GCF. Okay, now, yeah, no, you're right. Did I? Yes, greatest common factor. Listen. It. I'm not dyslexic, but it does happen sometimes. All right. So, what is the biggest thing that we can take out of x squared and 2x? That is all right. The number is 1, but what else can we take out of it? I can divide out an x out of both of these. Okay? Because yeah. Look, basically this is the same algorithm that they use for online dating sites. No, they do. They use a greatest common factor algorithm to match people up on dating sites. What do you have in common? No, I'm for serious. Now, here's the cool thing. We know that this is going to be -2, okay? Because if we put -2 in here, it's going to make that 0. What's the only thing I can plug in for x that's going to make it 0? Yes. Yeah. Nope. What? 0! If you have an x out here by itself, the only thing that it could be that you could plug in to make this whole thing 0 is 0. You're so confused that it's 0? Okay. I'll talk to you separately. Look, because if you did set this up, this is going to be x equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0, and you solve. Possibly. Yes. Okay. All right. All right, one fire at a time. All right, so if I cut this, because these are being multiplied, I can set, I say, all right, what can I put it? I set x equal to 0 because what can I make this be that's going to make it equal 0? Well, it's 0. The reason why it's -2 is because if I solve this, I get x equals -2. That's the only thing I can plug in here. Remember, we're looking at what's going to make this 0 and or what's going to make that 0, because if any one of those is zeros, the whole thing is 0. All right, Mr. Jeffries is taking a note. Do not have one like this on the test. This is like the easiest one, but okay, roll tide. All right. So we plug in, we get 1 here. Plug in, we get 11 here. So my final answer, all right, so I will make sure that none of these have something like that on there, because there's nothing better else to do on a Monday night. Yes, yeah, that's what you do is you just factor it. But a lot of people are really confused about some. But I think and I'm not going to try to harp on it very much, but like to say that would be equal to 0 to me in my brain, it makes a lot of sense. And for other people that doesn't, and I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm like, eh, you know, maybe we just needed to do more of those. Okay. But that's okay. This is a good review. And, I'm taking notes. Hey, don't have one like this on the test. Okay. Because look, seriously, like I have like 20 something kids in class. I'm looking at them. And I think I'm seeing smoke from some of them's brain right now. It's funny. All right. So, all right. Y'all ready? To the back of the paper. All right. So, this is what we did on Thursday. That was a great day. All right. So, we have to factor this first. This tells us our signs are different. This tells us our bigger number is negative. Okay, so what are the factors of -14 that when we combine them, we get -5? All right, so what numbers will multiply to give us 14? 7, 2. Okay, I heard 1 and 14 also. All right, but if I do 7 and 2, I do get my. No, I don't know what that was for. We still got 17 minutes. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I mean, just potato, potato. What is 1 plus -14? Well, that's their own fault because it says that we're supposed to be in here to 11:50. No, it says we don't. No, no. Look, it says third block. No, 11 11:55 to 1:54. All right. So, all right. Now, this gives us -2. This gives us 7. Because remember, it's the opposites. All right. So, well, kinda. Yes and no. Remember, we had our test points. And if you weren't here Thursday, you probably don't know what I'm saying. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. What are the factors of -14 that what two numbers, when you multiply them, you get -14, but you add them, you get -5. So -7 times 2 is -14. Do you agree with that? Okay. Is -7 plus 2 is -5. students should still be in second block. I told you I was right. Mhm. Okay, now, and remember it's the opposite of this. All right, so we need to do test points. I can do -3, I can do 0, and I can do 8. Now, remember, how many of these do we really have to test? At least one. Okay, I want to test the easiest one. Yeah, I want to test 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do is everywhere I saw A, I'm going to put a 0. And see, some of y'all are used to seeing that in on your grades. So, all right. So I'm going to plug in 0. Okay. So this is 0 minus 0 minus 14, which is, just hang on. I get -14. Is -14 less than 0? Yes. So here is all, there's all my answers that it could be. So my actual answer is -2 less than A less than 7. Okay, now this is what we did last week, except I don't have the chart and stuff. Do you need a chart on the test? Are you serious? Y'all need the chart? I'm gonna throw you out the window. You weren't here. All the stuff was online. No, you didn't. You didn't watch these videos. You're not part of my 40 subscribers. Hit that bell. 40. Yeah. No, I don't know. It was 36 last week. So, okay. All right. Soon. All right. So, let's look at this one. X, X. This tells us our signs are different. This tells us our bigger number is positive. Okay. So, what are some numbers that when we multiply them, we get -40? But when we add, all right, so just give me those numbers. 8 and 5. I like it. Okay. And the bigger one is going to be positive. So, what is 8 minus 5? 3. So there's our factors. We factored it right there. Okay. All right. So, -8, 5. All right. So, I've got to find some points in each of these little regions to test. I can test -9. What's an easy number right here in the middle? Okay. And then this one could be 6. Now, again, if I want to choose the easiest one each time, and so many people need the chart, don't know why. Okay. All right. So if I plug in 0, I get -40. Is -40 greater than or equal to 0? No, no, it's not. So that means that these numbers should work on this side. So my actual answer would be x less than or equal to -8, or x greater than or equal to 5. Yeah. If you don't write the or, that's fine. Don't combine them. Don't do this though, y'all. Oh, that's bad. Don't do that. Don't write this. Because that's just wrong. Okay. If y'all do that, like the math SWAT team will come and like snatch you up and black bag you and take you to a site and like make you derive stuff. It's just bad. Just real bad. All right. Yep. All right. We go with number 8. Writing it down. Now Okay, so these numbers right here, what you missed, which was on the video from Thursday, if you go back look at Thursday's folder, is I had to take test points in each one of these little sections. Okay. That's where, all right. So what's a number less than -8? -9. Okay. What's the number between -8 and 5? Well, the easiest one is 0. What's the number bigger than 5? 6. Okay. Now, we learned that on Thursday, we learned that if we just pick one of these things, that we can test it and we can actually get the answer instead of having to test all 3. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. This tells us our signs are different. This tells us our bigger number is positive. What are some numbers that we can multiply that will give us 36? 6 and 6. Okay. All right. 9 and 4. So 6 minus 6 is 0. What's 9 minus 4? 5. All right. So there's our factors. All right. And when we solve these, it's the opposite. So -9, +4. All right. Yep. All right. So we got, and then, all right. I'm trying to have these where 0 is in there, so it should be easier for you, but I don't want to, pop that bubble. All right, so I'm just going to test 0. Well, this gives me -36. Is -36 greater than 0? No. So that means that this region and this region would be our answers. So x has to be less than -9 or x has to be greater than 5. Oh, not 5, 4. Sorry. Sorry. I still wrote 5. High dollar operation here. All right. Feeling a little bit better about it, maybe. Even if you're lying to me, that's great. Not really. Ugh. I think I popped a rib. All right. So, moving on, number 10. Oh, my headset, man. All right. I know. I don't think I would need a headset like this if I was playing my Lego games that I like to play. All right. This tells us our signs are different. This tells us our bigger number is positive. Ooh. Killing it. That's right. Awesome. So it would be the opposite. Now, do 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 do. All right, test points could be -11, 0, and 10. All right. So again, I'm going to use 0 because it's easier. Okay. Teenagers by nature are lazy, and mathematicians by nature are lazy. So if you're a teenage mathematician, you should be super lazy. All right. Is 90, negative 90, because that's what we get when we plug in 0, is that less than or equal to 0? Yeah. So here are where all our solutions would be. It would be between this. That's okay. If you have trouble with the formatting of writing it, like how the answer is supposed to be, just ask me tomorrow during the test. All right. So the question was, why does this one work? Is negative 90 less than or equal to 0? Yeah. Okay. This one was negative 36. Is negative 36 greater than 0? Okay. Yeah. The signs where the alligator head goes matters. All right. Now, holy crap. I forgot to change this. I forgot to change the signs. All right. Hang on. Y'all ready? We're going to change these signs right quick. I totally forgot to do that. I think it's because Walking Dead came on yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, there's my students." Yes, I'm trying to do this quickly. All right, so all right, 11. Is this going to be solid or dotted? It's going to be dotted because it doesn't have a line up underneath it. 12 is going to be dotted, and these two are going to be solid. Now, it's the line. The line means it's solid. All right, number 11. What's being eaten? The other stuff, not the Y. So we shade down. The Y is being eaten. We shade up. We shade up. We shade down. Yep. Nope. That's it. That actually is math. Believe it or not. All right. Don't forget, go ahead, hit that subscribe, hit that bell. Come on back again. All right. Thank you for subscribing. Good stuff, good things. Roll Tide.